Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian Community's movers and shakers. Join our hosts, Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira guy Nissen, as well as the Jira Amigos in the Peanut Gallery, as we sit down and discuss the latest going on in the Atlassian ecosystem. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life, the Jira Life chose us.
Hello, Jira Amigos.
Hello.
Hi. And welcome back, Bill.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Bill, you might have just joined the team here.
Well, right? So, number one,
I will.
totally. Number two, if anybody had watched SNL for a while, right, there was like the 5 Timers Club, right? So, Bill, I think you're on 3 or 4 now. So, I think
3, yeah.
soon you get the jacket, right?
Love it.
Now we're on the hook
Yeah.
for making a jacket. Thank you.
Exactly.
And we got to get them made by the barbecue.
Yep.
Indeed.
Well, Bill, it's always a pleasure to have you back. And speaking of backups, our sponsor for today is Resolution, where we back our stuff up. Specifically,
Resolution?
Sorry. I literally have Resolution right in front of my face. I cannot do that. This is what I get.
That took me a second.
Revise. We're backing it up with Revise, and I should move my Slack out of the way so I can just focus on this window. And we're good. Okay. Hello. So, anyways, we're backing it with Revise, and that's why we get to bring you back, Bill, because we just back it up every time.
Yep.
We're restoring from a backup.
This is actually a previous episode. We're just replaying it as from a backup.
And the resolution slip was just to confirm that it's not a simulation.
That is
This is
AI
live.
fake.
Oh man. So Team 25 is coming up. Or who's excited?
Who isn't
One person.
excited?
I mean, what is there to not be excited about?
I don't know. I'm kind of like I was looking at the expo floor today and I'm like looking at the number of booths and I'm like, I kind of feel like Vegas was bigger. I kind of feel like Atlassian's only taking advantage of like 50% of the venue. So I'm like, And then I've been hearing this is like the second I've heard it like 2 or 3 different people that like it's gonna be so partner heavy, not custom, like there's not gonna be a whole lot of customers there. And so I'm like, I'm kind of getting deflated by the day.
Oh, no.
I'm always the negative Nancy though.
For me, it's never been. I mean, customers are great. I love talking to fans. But for me, it's always been about the community. Seeing the community leaders and friends that I've made over years that you normally only talk to online.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's why I'm going, right? Like, yeah, customers cool, but yeah, I mean I'm there to meet Sarah for the first time.
You know, right?
I'm gonna give Bill a big old bear hug. And then we're
think
gonna
I've
be walking
met-
around with the poster of Rodney. So
I've heard that is
so-
the plan.
I mean,
No, what we
here's my
do-
poster size Rodney. everywhere
We
I
have to
go.
get an iPad and just FaceTime him
Oh, the
in
whole,
and
Sheldon
mount
thing?
that on somebody's head and walk around.
Are you volunteering?
No, unless you want to be at booth 32 helping catworkx.
Nice.
No, but we are definitely gonna be in the revised booth. I
Yeah,
gotta get that correct.
We
Our
are
sponsor for this and
finalizing-
all the shows.
and our sponsor for Team 25 coverage.
Yeah, so we'll be at the booth 124 for quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll have 2 shows there. Our April 8th show, which is the Expo Hall Open Special, and our April 9th after keynote show, booth 124. And I will put this out there. Alex was asking earlier how I don't have FOMO. I'm not missing out. I have you guys there to capture everything for me. I'll be editing video probably all week from that. But also, I am doing and I got special permission from Atlassian to do this, rebroadcasting the keynote, probably with commentary, because I can't help myself, live.
Could you do that like all MST3K, right? And just have your silhouette there in the front row while you give your comments on the keynote?
I might be playing with some stuff in OBS.
I was about to say, I think you can do that in OBS.
You have way too much time on your hand, Rodney. Bill, though, you guys are what, booth 32 from what I see?
Yes, 32.
Right,
Yes.
right in front of the platform from Atlassian Hub. Now, I was on the phone earlier with Resolution, so I got to get my R's correct. And they're just a couple of booths down from you. And they kind of made a comment of like, they didn't feel like their booth was in an ideal position. But what are your thoughts? What are you thinking about where your guys' booth is at for catworkx?
So I did look at the map. I don't hate it. I mean, last year they put us right next to like the most used set of bathrooms. So, I mean, this time
You're next to a bathroom this time around too.
we're next to a bathroom actually, but like not one of the main ones, I think. So that's nice, I guess. But I guess that's like kind of a blessing and a curse because you get more foot traffic when you're right next to a place that a massive amount of people are going to. But
I'm assuming there's usually a lot of action happening within the Atlassian Hub, right? They got the biggest, they got the most attraction. So I'm like, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, Resolution, I mean, you just got to capitalize on the fact that everybody's going to come to the Atlassian Hub.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, especially with it's definitely going to be a heavy AI focus. So I know the Atlassian stuff is going to be just packed with what they've done to Rovo in the last year.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at the size of the little squares correctly, that platform that's right in front of you, that's like the biggest booth that Atlassian's going to have.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel definitely a lot better this time.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm thinking you and Resolution, you guys are good in a good spot there.
You want to share the map?
Oh yeah, might as well post it.
Yeah, this just came out. I don't know. I mean, what do they say? Say ask for forgiveness later. This just came out from the community leaders. We were given a little interactive web app that you can kind of walk around. And so here's team. So here's what I'm talking about, right? Like this whole thing, including the spherical thing and this item over here, are part of the convention center. And like they're just using like a quarter of it for the expo and a quarter of it for the keynotes. So I'm like, I feel like
how much is being used for sessions though?
Well, that's irrelevant. Who goes to sessions?
Considering you have a session, I don't think it's irrelevant.
So one of the speakers just said, "Who goes to sessions?"
No. I say that jokingly because all the sessions are usually in these expos, in the expo ones, right? Like,
not really. Those are theater sessions, yes, and
right.
I've done them. They're great fun. They usually draw a pretty good crowd, but
I enjoyed mine.
Dude, yeah. I'm gonna tell you, the last 2 years, I only found out there was real sessions at the tail end of teams because I was like, where are all these people going? And I followed them down a hall, and I'm like, oh, there were classes going on this whole time.
Yes.
That doesn't do a good job at promoting where the location of the sessions are, as you can see evident by their map.
I mean, it was an entire different floor from the rest of the expo too in Las Vegas. So it's like you'd have to know to go upstairs.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I asked one of the guys. I was trying to find this room, and I asked you know how they have people, at least in Vegas, they had a bunch of people spread out throughout the Venetian telling you where to go. Yep. So I asked the guy, I'm like, how do you get to the second floor? And he's like, there's a second floor? And I walked like 50 feet forward, and I found an escalator, and I'm like, I backed it up, and I'm like, by the way, in case anybody asks you, it's right there.
Well, how do you think this will compare in size back to when it was in San Jose? Did anybody else go? I know Bob
would have
attended San Jose. Yeah.
I think this feels smaller than Vegas, but I've never been to the San Jose ones, but I'm assuming
feels. Again, I don't have a scale on the map, so it's hard to tell, but it feels bigger than San Jose, but smaller than Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But I also see, I feel like there's a lot less booths as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm like, maybe I put too much time on my calendar for collecting swag. I feel like I'm going to get through them fairly quickly.
It's a little blurry. What did they put behind catworkx over there?
The bathroom.
Or the other side of behind catworkx platform.
Accenture. Oh wait, this is the one I was talking about. Platform.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying.
That's going to be part of the Atlassian area,
right? And this is what I was talking about. When you look at the rectangles here, or squares, parallelograms. This is the biggest one out of all of them here.
So since we're like right next to Teamwork Foundations and System of Work, I propose we add an X at the end of those. Teamworks Foundations and System of Works.
You just gotta go and tag in.
Are you just handing out a bunch of X marks the spot kind of thing?
Yeah, gets a bunch of X stickers and just stick it on the, the side.
Oh man, I'm sure you can go. I'm sure Twitter or X has a website where you can buy merch and just get a bunch of X stickers.
Maybe not that X. Maybe
Not
a
that
different looking X. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure catworkx has their own branding.
I could get the. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Just get your yellow X then, and then
And
just
so,
pop it in there.
are we going to read anything into like the sizes of these parallelograms for like service management versus Trello versus enterprise?
Yeah, I was
strategy and
thinking about
planning?
that actually, because Trello is real tiny, of course, because nobody uses Trello. Sorry, Brittany. Brittany, if you're watching,
Don't make
I
Brittany come after
apologize.
us.
I'm so sorry,
Mhm.
but I mean, it makes sense with the Teamwork Foundations and software development sizes. Yeah, though you'd think if the sizes were relevant, enterprise strategy would be bigger in service management.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I found these interesting. So Valiantis and Appfire, but then they're like the headliners down here. So I'm like, do they get double?
Oh, interesting.
They may get double in lieu of a bigger space.
They just wanted to be next to the action, so they're like, we'll take a small booth plus the big booth at the entrance. Because what's nice about
It's
it,
an add-on.
What?
I said it's an add-on.
Oh,
we
it's
got
an
the one booth, and then we're gonna add on the small booth.
Oh my god, I immediately jumped to DLC, and that's
The second booth is their DLC.
You
the
got
first expansion.
You got to pay extra to go to that one. Although, Sarah, your job's going to be to find out which booth is going to have the better swag.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
You got to ask around. This is interesting. The relaxation lounge. I always find those interesting because in the sea of the expo hall, all you hear is like rah, 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 and everybody talking. So I would have felt like a relaxation hub like out here.
Right, like it'll be nice out, so maybe that'll be an extra one. Your alt one
Yeah.
could be just go outside for a view.
One thing to note though is that unlike Venetian, right? You exit here, you're outside,
Mhm.
right? And the Venetian, you don't really have to go outside for anything.
Does this
So-
mean that everybody is going to have to pile up outside the doors to wait for it to open?
Yeah,
Because
you know
that's
what?
going
I
to
don't
be.
know how. I think this area might be big enough, but I don't think it's Venetian big. It's been a minute since I've been in it, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of white space here
There's
Mhm.
not.
to kind of hang out before they open the doors to the expo.
Mm.
But unlike Vegas, you might have to do a little trek from. I mean, all the hotels are
Well,
out external.
But let's talk again about how many people are going to be filling up that white space to get in when it starts. It might
Yeah.
be
I know
enough
half of them
to
are
get-
going to be inside already.
right?
Attendance
Because
is gonna be
if
pretty
partners
low
don't have
too,
to
isn't it?
register, community leaders are done, partners are done. If that's only really customers at that point, who are the folks who are registering, how many is that?
Well, we should get a wager going. How many people do you think will be at Atlassian? I think I've heard mixed numbers. I think last year I did sat down and talk to an Atlassian during lunch, and I think the number they threw out was like 4,000, if I'm recalling correctly. Not sure.
4,000 customers or 4,000?
They just said 4,000 people.
That's people. That's not customers.
Yeah, people.
I talked to quite a few people when I was in Germany over the last couple of months, and not as much people want to come to the regular Team 25 this year. I think they're waiting it out for the inevitable
Euro?
Team 25 Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be happy to go back to Team 25 Europe and drag Alex with me this time.
I'm going to try to go if catworkx will let me. I'm definitely going to go since I'll be on the continent anyway.
Atlassian for
As they
startups
say.
representing.
I love that on the continent.
The foundation's pretty big.
Yeah, they
Crack
can do
is
the
gonna
text a
be-
little bigger, huh?
GitHub
You
has a
zoom in.
massive booth.
Who?
GitHub, go back
Yeah,
down.
Yeah, GitHub is pretty big. They're like the Valiantis size.
I mean, to be fair, they are backed by Microsoft.
Yeah, but
Fair point.
Amazon. So Amazon was here, and I thought I saw AWS over here somewhere. Could be wrong. thought I saw another AWS one.
But, you know,
The
to your,
AWS DLC.
You know, right?
to
I'm
your
surprised
earlier
Tori. I'm surprised Tori is there. Have you guys ever used Tori?
Who's
I have
Tori?
not.
So
spelling,
Tori
is it Tori Spelling coming? Is she like the special guest? Is she a surprise keynote?
No. So Tori is this company where they do like license management for SaaS applications. So all your different SaaS that you have as an enterprise, like
Oh.
your they help you track your licenses, right? I tried for like a year to get them to figure out how Atlassian does licensing, and they just could not for the life of them figure it out. So I'm surprised. This is the one I'm very, very surprised they're there. They don't know. They don't understand how licensing works for Jira.
So that means you're going to stop by, right, and get an interview real quick?
I'm gonna go ask them if they figured it out. Because when I was there, I got really frustrated. Salto, AppFox. This one's interesting to me. So, of course,
Oh
our
no,
channels-
they're right next to each other.
right, like they're arch nemesis right next to each other. So I'm definitely gonna try to get a reaction from Vish on this, what he thinks of this one here.
He'll be having a fist fight with Bogdan, before we know it. From
Yeah. So this is like
love the
wedding,
homies at Haiku.
like wedding table seating, isn't it? Right? Like
It is a little.
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Who maybe needs
All
to
the
be
drama and
separated.
everything.
But then you get to see who's got a lot of money, right? Because like these booths here, I hear we're going for like $5,000 a day or something like that.
Sounds about right from the numbers I've heard.
And so then this is like
$50 on Bogdan.
There's like 4 of these is this one, right? So 5, so at least $25,000-$30,000 for this rectangle. So that means this one's easily got to be in the $50,000 to $60,000 neighborhood, which means by the time you get over here to, well, I guess that's the biggest one. Interesting setups. Interesting setups.
It does seem like every year, and hearing this from partners, that's their biggest complaint is there's a lot of cost in these booths, and there's some question about sometimes is it worth it?
Yeah, ROI.
Dude, Tempo, look at Tempo, man. One of the biggest app makers in the marketplace.
I think they've got a big one down at the bottom, though, don't they?
Yeah, that might be one of those add-on ones.
Is this the
red one?
Oh, why is theirs red?
Yeah.
I was gonna say they got to be.
They may have the top spot this year.
Fair point.
I mean, keynote traffic right here. You're gonna have thousands of people coming in and out right here. So if you're K15T, if you're Yasun, and Tempo, you guys remember what Funman Andy did that one time? So Funman Andy he went and grabbed the chapsticks that he had for his booth because like the expo was here, but the Old Street Solutions booth was like over here, like relative, right? Obviously to what they had. So he went and grabbed their swag and lined up as people were exiting. And he was like, "Nope, you can't do that."
That's catworkx right around the corner from the traffic too. Look at that.
Yep.
Cool. But we also see the meals are dispersed, so there's some flow to the meals, right? Like anybody who goes
look at
over there.
That was interesting. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but excited to see that. I'm trying to see where. So last year we had like a little. I guess this is the lounge. I was looking for this one here where the creators, right? Because some of us are creators. So last year we had like, interestingly enough, though, they haven't sent out the reservation booth yet, though.
I think Lauren's still trying to catch up on everything.
Team Quest. So what do you guys think Team Quest is?
The gamification where they make you get goals.
Do stuff in order to earn the T-shirt for the event.
I wonder where they're going to do the pictures.
Are they going to do the pictures?
Yeah, they're doing pictures because it's in our community leader agenda where they're. Oh wait, why is there an empty box here?
We found where they're doing pictures.
Where the pictures are.
And then of course the race car.
Ah, yes.
We knew the race cars.
Okay, things turn red when I click on them. So Tempo just has.
That explains it.
That means if I'm looking at this correctly, Tempo has the biggest booth. That's not at.
Yeah, they definitely got the top spot this year.
Well, and
I think I saw that.
I think it was.
Do you think this right here, outdoor terrace, they'll have like a Rivian there? given how much Atlassian loves Rivian
It's
and the whole
potential.
adventure vibes. Then they definitely got
Question.
the biggest booth.
Wow.
And I like how they set up their advisory services right there as well. That's that's free money for Atlassian right there.
So
Apparently, William thinks they will not have a Rivian there, Alex.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. I mean, what are they gonna put? I think of like, have you guys ever seen Superstore?
yes.
Yes.
It's like the scenes where they're like having like they have like the barbecue stuff set up outside inside their store. So I'm like, what are they gonna have, like tents for us to hang out, sleeping bags, take a nap?
Nap room.
What would you put in
Love
an
it.
outdoor terrace? Like what would they put in there that you couldn't get out here by coming outside?
Well, you don't have to go all that way to get
Yeah,
outside.
see,
A shorter walk is what you get, Alex.
yeah, that's exactly.
Mark's in here
So,
twice.
expectations. People might be getting a little tired of the map. What
Yeah.
what are we thinking?
Well, let's hit
What are
him
we
with another
expecting to
map.
see? Oh, cool, more maps.
Oh no,
Oh,
Alex. Take away Alex's controls.
No. Let's go to expectations, then we'll come back to another map. But we got more maps to talk about.
Although I will say, to your point though, right? The greens did say the workshops and breakouts. So yeah, where would all of those, how many events are concurrent? And is there enough of those green spaces for all of that concurrency?
It's crazy, man. They're so fast, so quick, and so low audio. I find them more frustrating than helpful. Anything that's in the expo hall, and then anything that's happening outside the expo hall, it's away from the action, so then nobody goes. Mainly because I can find them.
All right.
They don't
so
do
back to expectations. Bill, you have any thoughts?
Oh boy. Well, I think we're going to see maybe a little more of a focus on AI features with development. This was stuff that I was really excited about that I saw at Team 24 at the Atlassian AI booth. And it was just, stuff that blew me away, like code fixes from Jira, sorry, not issues, work items.
We're still in transition. It's cool. It's cool.
On TGL, there will always be issues. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, more focus on Jira software, because that's like their oldest skin in the game, and they've really been focusing on service management.
You can't call it Jira software either, because you're just like on the
It's just Jira now. Oh yeah, that's right.
Jira.
Atlassian will get you though if they don't like it.
Oh boy. But yeah, with GitHub having a huge presence, it seems there, and from the sessions I'm looking through in the list, it seems a lot more development focused. I'm really hoping to see more like awesome stuff come to Forge, more incentive for vendors to migrate their stuff from Connect to Forge, because we're going to lose Connect in like probably within the next year and a half. Tickets, yeah, tickets works too.
It's interesting you're saying that, because I would have assumed that Atlassian would do a 180 of that.
Really?
Well, given the trends, right? Why is it work items? Because they want to appeal to non-software people.
They've got software on lock. They're working on that some. They're still trying to appeal to them, but they know for software developers, it's pretty much going to be Jira. They've got service management fairly on lock. I think they're really going to focus in on system of work and business teams.
That's where their next money is.
Oh, definitely system of work. Absolutely. Yes, that is one of the biggest things that they're working on with partners is if you're advertising a solution, it needs to align with system of work and teamwork graph and stuff, and tell us how when we post it in the solution catalog. So,
but that's such a tough sell, though. It's like it's an interesting market to go hit. It makes sense, but it's such a hard, like, I feel like engineers, like, I'm probably going to turn this into a whole episode where everybody hates me again, but engineers like are more curious, right? They're willing to try things out, right? But when you start hitting different demographics within a company, like there's no way you're taking Excel from someone. Period.
Especially executives.
Yeah. There's
mean,
no
what?
way. There's no
didn't say
way
that
they're
out loud.
walking out of PowerPoint. There's no way they're walking out of Excel.
Oh boy.
It's just not gonna happen.
I mean, you can put presentation mode in Confluence all you want. That executive is still going to use PowerPoint or slides.
Bold of them to assume that executive logs into the Atlassian instance to begin with.
Sarah?
But I think we are looking at this now. Again, I'm going to just keep owning my Jira momness, right, and my age and all of that, because we've got the gamut here of it. And so, yes, currently, for sure, you got a lot of old school Microsoft, right? These are the products I was brought up on. But using that same concept of these are the products I was brought up on, there is going to be a new generation of folks that have these other sets of products that they were brought up on, which is going to include the Atlassian suite. And so, yes, now, absolutely, I think there's people who are going to be stuck there, but I can absolutely foresee that changing. I know Alex is no, I got nods, I got head shakes.
I don't see this because the whole company has to shift.
Yeah.
Right. The whole company has to shift. And then two, Microsoft's so locked in when you talk about productivity, business productivity, Copilot, right? And the amount of work that Microsoft's putting into Copilot, and just one fee is getting you Copilot. It's getting you the entire 365 suite. It's getting you your Teams. It's getting you your IAM stuff, right? Like Microsoft's really an enterprise solution there. And here comes Atlassian saying we're going to compete somehow.
I'll add something to that. I'll add something to that real quick. The best deployments I've ever seen have been bottom-up movements. They started with the people actually doing the work, and it just percoled up until the executive became aware of and like, oh, everyone in my company is using this tool. I might as well get on board. The worst deployments I've ever experienced have been top-down, where the executives, oh, Jira's great. Everyone's using Jira. Let's use Jira, and tried to push it down to everyone to use.
Yeah, especially when there's no coordination with the teams that are going to use it. This is where we end up at the people have really, really badly configured Jira instances. And those are the people that say, I hate Jira.
Mm-hmm.
They have this forced on them with absolutely no input from their teams who actually use it on the daily. And yeah, it ends up a huge disaster.
I just think people are victims of they like what they're comfortable with. And even with the new generation, right? Like you're still gonna have to interact with the existing stuff, right? And what are you gonna do the moment somebody emails me an Excel file from 2020? Right, that has all that pertinent information.
Install Excel.
What do they do with the Excel files though? Seriously though, what do some of the executives leaders need the Excel files for? And with it, and I know analytics, so let's just pretend my hope dream is that analytics actually is no longer just an enterprise product. But when you talk about, if Atlassian Analytics could open up more, and then it becomes more about your dashboards as opposed to your spreadsheets in particular. So I'm always curious about what do they need that spreadsheet for that they can't get from some other system? And then that's the whole idea with the system of work, is that trying to, it's going to be a long process, but getting out of that thought process and then into those projects and into those goals and into those quick hits, so that work becomes almost more, and we already see it, right? You start making all of the work look more like social media, where people are already comfortable and spending their time. So as soon as you got the people coming up who, most of their life social media hasn't existed, now they're like, hey, I need information. I'm going to go to a social media as opposed to going into something more old school.
That's a very good observation. Actually, I have noticed that, but not put the words together to describe it. Yeah. I mean, if you look at Atlassian's new home type pages, also focus is going to be huge. I'm sure at Team 25, right? We're going to see that, but it really is this orientation towards social media type interfaces, and that also explains what's been happening with chat platforms over the last few years too.
And that worries me a lot. What both of you just said, because
Yep.
I remember. So I'm old school, right? I came from defense world in the U.S., right? Everything works off of Excel. I've seen
Nothing
people
more
with
conservative.
I've seen people with their plotter printers print out Excel files the size of a room. And I remember the first time I walked into a startup and I jumped into Slack, and like there was full Slack channels that were just GIFs communicated. I was like, how the hell do people engineer requirements out of a GIF?
Oh, I could.
It just works.
It just
No,
works.
it doesn't. It doesn't, because the picture, like, I think people prefer their Excel and the PowerPoint because it's black and white. It's the requirement's a requirement. You don't need to social mediafy it. Right now, Rodney, we're trying to ask him to do something, and Rodney was like, hold up. Rodney was like, let me go find it in the sea of threads that I have. I'm like, can you imagine when you have everything's in a thread somewhere? Like, I don't think it's like, maybe the new, like, you're talking like the 18-year-olds might enjoy this, but as long as you have older people still in the workforce, you need easy to find information.
It will be a journey, but go ahead, Rodney. Sorry.
I don't care for the threadification of Slack, how everything's in a thread now, but I have communicated requirements and gotten requirements in GIF form, so maybe I'm part of the problem.
How did that work out for you, man? But we got planes falling out.
Actually, fairly well if it's done right.
Hey team, what should we think about in this upcoming sprint? Imagination. Not GIF.
But again, I'm not saying like every single piece of work gets done in that social media format, but I'm saying as far as when I need to communicate something, I think people are just going to simply be more adept and accustomed to, right? Let all of those social media set the standards and the thought processes to getting to it, and adopt those patterns rather than trying to recreate something entirely isolated and new.
It's a little bit of a slippery slope potentially. I mean, it's really dangerous because at some point, the potential to introduce the rot and the toxicity could appear in some orgs. This is something that now I'm starting as a solution partner to think about, is keeping these new social type situations clean. I mean, I'm already doing solutions around like single source of truth and cleaning up people's instances so that your AI stuff, actually, you get the right data back. But now I'm thinking, I hope Atlassian gives organizations tools to manage these new feed type situations, because
noise.
Yeah.
But how hard is that? So we're way off topic. Sorry, friends. Tell me if I need to stop. But then you start thinking about with your AIs and with people posting so much, and then the concepts of editorializing that, and then having somebody decide, what's the wheat, what's the chaff, and then who makes those decisions, and then it's just all gone too far. So we can get back on topic. Just needed to get that out.
I just think, to conclude, System of Work's a tough sell. Makes sense. Financially, it makes sense, but culturally, it's going to be a tough sell.
Who's written the great work novel about System of Work? Because unfortunately, I think there's so many companies that there's examples, at least anecdotes of somebody read some business book. It had here's how I'm going to solve all of your woes. And then they come in and try to transform the company, right, based on that book. And or it gets referenced so often. So who's going to write that, the good side of that, with the ways of working in the System of Work?
Get a grip on your business.
I love it.
These are the EOSs and rocks and mountains and pebbles, but I've seen it more than once.
With System of Work, I have to work on a companion solution called System of Works, or I'm just not doing this right.
I mean, it's right there. I'm surprised catworkx marketing hasn't already tried this.
I mean, it will get confusing with Teamwork, because we do have a product called Teamworks with a KX. So
Did Bob just volunteer us to write a book, Alex?
I hope
think
not.
so.
I hope not. I'm not writing another book with Bob.
Wow. Okay.
I've learned
You
my
just
lesson.
don't want to argue with the publisher again.
I really,
Which
yeah.
I
Honestly,
will say
there's nothing to
was
do with
the
Bob.
most
Yeah.
entertaining part of the
Yeah.
experience.
My respects to Bob. It's the publisher. I don't want to deal with the publisher ever again. And I don't even say it's that publisher. I think it's just publishers in general. But I
will
didn't
say
want
it
to
was
say so.
entertaining.
Just to, again, yeah, that was very entertaining. I'm very sassy. But and to conclude my sassiness, right? Like, I don't know. This whole back to system of work stuff, right? Like ServiceNow versus JSM. Like I feel like they're uphill battles. Like you're not going to uproot $1 million investments in other tools to come to Jira because all your cool friends are over there. And if they are, they better figure out very cheap and easy ways to move data. And I do mean cheap, not like multi-million-dollar answers to moving data.
This is, for a lot of companies still on data center, especially large companies, this is the argument too. We've invested millions in integration and development time and resources into this platform to make it what we need as a company. And we'd have to spend those millions all over again to re-engineer everything to migrate to cloud. And that's just not feasible.
See this more than once. Yeah. It's an ongoing issue with some customers is how entrenched they are in this data center build that they've done for the last decade and a half, right? And we've got situations where people's plugins have not, like the vendor has been defunct for years and they like daily use this plugin that has no migration path or equivalent in cloud.
Right. But the thing is, right, because eventually those do become those outdated systems. So the goal, obviously the goal is always create a system that can scale, that doesn't get outdated. I mean, obviously, I think all of them eventually will. But like trying to keep yourself not so tied and critical, right? Just it's the same kind of thing you would say about even the skills of the people you're working with, right? You always want to make sure if anything happens, you can fill in that gap.
Yeah, and definitely true.
I'm with Mark on this one.
Oh my God, what was that?
This is my Jira.
Oh God.
But yeah, like, I mean,
can you read that in 20 minutes or less, though?
I am on paper still, dude. I am so behind my SLA. Don't even get me started with that.
But to that comment, yeah, I mean that's what Atlassian is trying to focus on, is moving all of these other non-technical teams into the whole ESM scheme, right? So for us at catworkx, we do use Jira to track everything across all business units, and usually it works out pretty well. Usually.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get into, I'm just going to do this because everybody else is using it, even if it might not be the exact right way.
Right.
But yeah, I've always been a huge proponent personally that it was available for so many other teams. There were so many other use cases that it just made sense for. And then getting those teams on board sometimes is difficult. So speaking their language, hey, this isn't about this software. This is about how you work.
Yeah, exactly. It's about processes and procedures, not just like what you're looking at and clicking, right? We're looking at a major overhaul for a customer right now. They've got a JSM set up across like all of their business units. And we've interviewed every team. And it's when you get to this point where it's granularly focused on business units, then you get to their specific requirements and how they work, and you're trying to guide them into the Jira processes, but they don't always it's not always compatible necessarily, and there's a little bit of a process shift that comes in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that, and then there's like the whole geez, man, it just blanked me. But I've been working with the team where like I show them Jira, like this is the way, but at the end of the day, they're like, I still want features that my other tool can do. You're like, well, what do you do there when like Jira won't do it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Atlassian needs to add more flexibility. And then there's a whole concept of like, well, Jira's cheap until you got to add 50 plugins to make it do what one other tool does natively.
Fair point. Although with Jira, there's extensibility in there. You just have to know how to do automations or Forge apps or hire catworkx to do your automations in Forge apps.
Yeah, but all of that
But,
comes with now again investments in money and plug like
yeah,
usage
exactly.
limits and stuff, right? So like ClickUp, right, is a super powerful tool that doesn't have the limitations on the automations and has the
Yeah.
flexibility to do what you need it to do. So I think Atlassian, I think it's I think it depended too much on the marketplace, and I think that might bite it long term. Because right now it's been manageable, right? You only have 200-300 users in your Jira, or 2,000-3,000 users. But now you're talking 50,000,
20 or 30,000, 50,000.
Yeah,
I've
now you're
already
talking
seen
50.
those. Yeah.
Right. So now when you get to the 50, 60, 70, 80,000 users, like that's a lot of plugins. And then the way Atlassian does their billing, which I'm hearing is going to change, but the way they do their billing, it ain't for the poor people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I've heard the rumor too, Alex, that there might be some relief coming for how billing works, and let me just say it's about freaking time.
But not for Rovo, because Rovo's still
Well,
We'll
and
see.
speaking of Rovo,
We'll see if anything changes on Rovo.
Well, I mean,
Hopefully.
speaking of Rovo,
otherwise that thing's dead.
Fleer
on
is
arrival.
honestly not expecting that to be a big thing at Team 25.
I think Atlassian has to play their cards right here, because Atlassian is basically going to pull an Apple here, and this is not what you want to do. You do not want to drop Rovo, hype it up to be the coolest thing in the world at an unaffordable price.
So the last time I was here, one of the biggest things that I complained about was Rovo pricing. So my feeling, which may or may not be grounded in rumors or evidence or anything, but my feeling,
Opinions
is
are my
that
own.
we might be seeing some positive changes to the Rovo pricing structure, I think. So
They
we'll
have to.
see.
They
They
have to, 'cause
literally
you-
have to
You can't
sell
launch
it.
with the $330,000 headset when
It's
the competitor's
impossible.
doing 500.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is like buying AirPods Max over a pair of like earbuds, but you get better audio quality, but you're spending like a massive amount of money, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the lead architect of AI at catworkx, so I have to say AI is great. Rovo is going to be awesome. They're going to talk about it this year, but I mean, I'll be on board. I love Rovo compared to the other chat interfaces that I've seen pop up in other environments and ecosystems. Like Rovo kind of does it right, I feel.
I'm
yeah.
optimistic for Rovo. It's just that price has to make sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody wants to buy a chat GPT license for every single user. They already would have done this. And Microsoft's throwing Copilot at people. I mean, literally, like they are taking it in their hand and throwing it at you to make you use it.
And no one still uses it.
And yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to use Copilot. I have actually had a couple of businesses ask us about integrating Copilot into Jira and Confluence.
But
and
is
I
that
pull up
the
my
management
Rovo
asking
battle cards.
that, or is that the rank and file asking that?
I'll let you guess. And the first guess doesn't count. You've got two, and the first doesn't count.
That's what I thought.
Redline, talking about red lines, redlining your budget. Let's redline the map.
No, you're not bringing the map back.
No, I think we need to talk about this.
So you get red lines
Just like
on
we
maps.
need to talk about
Oh my god.
some spam.
So LA, where is the part of LA that is not red on Google Maps?
It's far away. LA is like 30 miles.
Well, that general area, right? I know Anaheim's not LA, and everybody that's like over there is cringing at me right now, but just that like sphere of influence.
So
Not the
LA
miles, it's the time.
LA's over here.
Okay.
LAX is way the heck over here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And this 105 freeway is one of the worst freeways in the world.
So I've heard.
And just to
almost
drive,
like everyone from LAX is going up and down it or something. I don't know.
Well, the interesting part is that this, I mean, if you've ever seen Compton, it's right here off the 105. So there's a movie called Straight Outta Compton. So don't get stuck in Compton.
Don't.
There's certain parts of LA you don't want to get stuck in, and everything I'm showing here, like, it's not a place you want to be in at night. Luckily, though, the Atlassian conference is not in LA, only SoFi Stadium. So
auxiliary events all over the area, though. I mean, it's not with the partners and the vendors that are around. Like, people are going to be all over all of it. We're not going to be just like stuck in that little part of Anaheim,
Yeah.
right?
And that's super interesting, right? Because I don't know, like I don't know how. So we don't have public transit like you do in Europe, right?
Yes, I love the. Oh my god,
And
I
our
love the
traffic
transit in Europe.
our traffic is horrible, right? So right now it's 2:45. So right now it's the time for TrelloCon, right? And so that 55 South is going to be great, right? You're not going to get too much traffic getting down there, like way down there, but coming back up, you better hope that this traffic is gone by then, because this right here progressively gets worse the whole way back up.
Can
I'm
you throw
going to be
directions
honest.
on there?
Just a reminder, Friday afternoon traffic starts Thursday at 2 p.m.
It does.
I was not aware that Google Maps had a deep burgundy color.
Welcome to LA. I didn't even show you LA.
Like, is it a special color for Southern California? Or
No, because I've seen it in Atlanta.
I almost
This is
named
fair
that
point, fair
color
point.
something.
This is to get back into my house. Like, this is like dark. You don't
Atlanta
want to
can
be
get
coming
bad.
into my house at.
Oh my god!
I have seen the color black on Google Maps before, and I'm pretty sure Alex has too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you just want to be cautious, right? Because the distances and like traffics in and around LA is like really bad, even around Disneyland Park. So I will tell you that the most amount of traffic in and around this area is after 4 p.m. because almost everybody that visits the park are locals, and almost everybody works. So after your 4 p.m., that's when everybody's coming into the park. So
Makes sense.
expect a high level of traffic after 4 p.m.
Super.
Right. And so yeah, and then again, this is in Vegas where you can like drive down there or take like taxis and Ubers are not this, they're not ubiquitous here
Yeah.
like they are in Vegas. Like
That's
you will
news.
wait. Yeah, you'll wait
Oh.
some time.
That being said,
Is that just from
Lina has some advice.
Which advice do you want to hear?
Oh, a train. Okay.
There's
Train
a
LAX to
train. So the
Norwalk.
105 is here, right? So this is coming out of LAX. So as you can see, it's pretty heavy on the way out, especially for, again, 2:47 p.m. There is a train that kind of follows this all the way to about here. And then from here, you can take a bus that'll take you down to Disneyland over here.
I'm
my
suddenly in
God.
the SNL skits with the Californians, where all they talk about is their
Californians.
paths to and from places.
Wait,
love
where
it.
were you guys going to
The
go?
one tangent.
So this map is great and all, Alex, but I don't think this is the map we all want to see.
This is the map we want to see.
This
So
map
this
has
is
made
the-
Alex infamous.
So, folks, like, I mean, I feel like I'm scaring everybody, but I'm 36 years old and I spent 33 of those years in Anaheim. And so I know this place really, really well. And there's just certain areas that after a certain time, I wouldn't be alone in at
Well,
night.
yeah, it's just if you don't have to be, then don't. Right.
Right.
I live in
So-
St. Louis. I know these things.
Yeah. So anywhere on Harbor, right? So I'll zoom out a little bit, right? Because you can kind of see the hotels from this perspective. Harbor here is very well populated. So anywhere along this street, there's always families going up and down. So up until about here, there's Orangewood, and even all the way to this Hyatt place. I think this is as far north as we would probably go. Chapman here, you can safely do, but it's a few miles, right? So you're talking 2-3 miles at this point. I wouldn't walk it from Disneyland, but from the convention center maybe. But once you start getting into the neighborhoods here, like there's a lot of apartments, so there's a lot of poverty in and around Disneyland. So there's a lot of poverty. So my wife was like, this Ponderosa Park, I'll just tell you this, my mom never let me come to this park because if you wanted some drugs, maybe this is where you want to hit up. But the majority of all the local drugs happen in this area here. So again, if you're interested in picking something up, cross the red line, see what happens.
Again, I feel the need to say this. TGL does not endorse.
I will
Going
tell you,
to
in California,
illicit
certain drugs are legal
substances.
though. So it's just it's an interesting area.
Drugs
I
are
would-
bad. Okay.
I wouldn't
Okay.
I wouldn't be
Okay.
walking. Like if you're in an Uber, if you're driving around, right? Like if you're in a car, you're fine. You know, you're not gonna get mugged like in a car. You're not gonna like broken into. But
Boy.
walking at 1, 2 in the morning, probably not your best idea.
That's just so. I mean, having been in and around Munich for the last couple of months, it's like I don't feel like having to look over my shoulder when I'm walking down the street, and it's going to be so weird getting.
You'll be
like,
fine as
back
long as
in
you
that.
stay in the resort, though, right? As long as you're down harbor and,
Okay,
and
good,
like
fair
this
point.
hotel part. But like I will tell you this much. So I was doing my ClearPath commercial, right? And and I walked from over here. So we actually recorded in reverse. And so we started on harbor, walked our way back this way, and then walked through the Pixar Hotel, and then little Easter egg here. You guys like hidden Mickeys? There's a hidden Mickey right here in the walkway.
Oh, I had
It looks
no
like a
idea what you were
Mongo.
talking about. I don't remember Disney, Mickey. That's
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
there's-
hidden Mickeys are
Oh
a
my
big thing in their
God.
parks.
Yeah, there's hidden
It is
Mickeys
the
everywhere.
Ponderosa Park.
Well, we were just talking about drugs, so I didn't know what was happening. Okay.
Mhm.
And those
There's a
trees
hidden
do look
Mickey
a
right
little
here.
like pot plants.
Yeah, hidden Mickey. But as I was walking, once I got to this corner, I started getting nervous. And then we're right in front of the Westin. I mean, I saw like this couple came out, and my immediate thing I told my wife, I'm like, how much do you think that bag is worth? Because this people were walking out of the Westin with very, very expensive bags, but you wouldn't want to go that way with that bag. You're okay as long as you come this way. But I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous for just my family and I walking down the street just to catch that last clip that I needed. And it was like 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
And this is why attendance is lower this year.
among many other reasons. I heard I had some great conversations at the ACE event. Saying the word event after ACE is redundant. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But after the ACE in Munich last month, or earlier this month, whichever. Yeah, I heard some interesting feedback on people who were not coming to the US Team 25. I won't dig too deep into that, but
We've seen a little bit in the Slack channel, right? Like, yeah, with our like green card, and just right now the US is in a very weird spot. You might not even make it to teams. Right?
people do not want to get harassed. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Try being Mexican in Southern California.
Oof. Dios mío.
I mean, at least
Like-
you have a passport now, Alex.
I have some proof that I belong here, right?
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, it's
So-
an interesting situation, like from politically as well. Like LA though is very driven by there's a lot of diversity in LA though. So
Mhm.
I think LA protects a little bit more. But yeah, getting in and out of customs at LAX though is going to be an interesting thing. Also, if you're coming in from LAX, man, it is a drive. It is not.
Yeah.
This is not something you should anticipate at least a minimum of an hour. Let me scratch
That's
that.
actually that's
Let me scratch
less
that.
than thought.
Mhm.
You should anticipate at least an hour once you're on the freeway. Just getting out of LAX should take you an hour.
Fair
Yeah.
point.
Getting from a terminal to a car is about an hour delay.
Mm.
So just that part. I avoid LAX like the plague. I have an airport conveniently 10 minutes from my house.
I remember,
I tried so hard not to land there.
yeah. And just
Didn't work.
once, many moons ago, getting a rental car, and the line was an hour for the rental car.
I think it's just bad timing though, because for the Olympics, since LA's hosting, they're setting it all up here, but it's all under construction. And they're setting up trains, and like it's going to be so efficient by the time we do the Olympics. But that's
But in the
3 years.
meantime,
That's still 3 years away.
Atlassian only has a 2-year contract.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like this isn't like it's an interesting city to have picked for like this big of an international crowd,
Yeah.
because this international airport is not conveniently located to Disneyland.
Aren't they filming the new season of Fallout in LA too right now?
Probably. I drove down I drove down to where the fires were, and it looks like an apocalyptic movie. Like we were down here like 3 weeks ago, and all
Yeah.
this is burnt. Like it's just ruins. All you see are chimneys.
Oof.
So it's pretty. Actually, has this been updated? Yeah, look.
You're not sharing anymore, Alex.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
not
man,
sharing your
that's-
screen anymore, but
This has been updated. Like these are just chimneys
my
that are standing up. Everything's been burnt to the ground. And the location I was with Sean Doyle we were right here. And so I just went up like 2-3 miles and like you start to see everything just
you can see the scarring in the map if you zoom out.
yeah.
Dang.
Crazy. It's crazy. And this is a little one, right? This isn't even the Palisades one. That Palisades was over here. Or I guess that was the cheapest one because the Palisade one was more expensive. But
Wow.
yeah, LA, man. I will
Well-
tell you, you guys are going to Hollywood though for any activities. Like that's a whole other thing, right? Like Hollywood, LA. I
Hollywood.
do recommend if you have time, definitely make it out to the Griffith Observatory. I think it's free, but if you make it there, you get beautiful views of all of LA, and the Hollywood sign is like right here somewhere. Somewhere here. There it is.
I've watched
Hollywood.
BoJack way too many times over the years, so I kind of do want to make a little pilgrimage to the observatory.
Yeah.
To see it in person.
And then if you don't want to go to Disneyland, I've seen people do the Warner Brothers studio tour. Universal Studios has a whole thing over here as well with Mario, the Nintendo World, the Super Mario World, whatever they call it.
Will the Warner Brothers and Sister Dot be there? Because that could change my mind.
I never actually done it. I know that if some people are gonna go do like the celebrity tours, and I'm like, I've lived in LA my whole life, and I've never cared to go see celebrities' houses. Also, if you want to do something local that's not Disneyland, but still want to do like a theme park, we have Knott's Berry Farm here in Buena Park. Where the heck did it go? Where's my beach boulevard? More down. Oh, but you think I know my city business?
Can the Jira Mom go see a game show?
I mean, if you want to, I'm sure.
Here it is.
That feels like the kind of thing I should do.
Knott's Berry Farm's kind of cool. It's like a nice little place to hang out with some pretty nice roller coasters. So it's a lot cheaper. It's like a fifth of what Disneyland costs. So it's probably better. And it's also more adult rides than Disneyland, because Disneyland has like one roller coaster. But we'll be at Disneyland and
on roller coasters.
We'll be having fun. Welcome to Anaheim,
So
folks.
we've got 3 minutes left. So I think it's enough time for some final thoughts from those who will be going to Team 25. Bill?
I mean, I'm excited for all of it. I can't wait to see what Atlassian does to improve the AI features around the ecosystem. And I'm looking forward to helping customers and our partners and vendors get this AI stuff implemented the best way possible. So I'm excited. I'm happy to be there. Booth 32, CatWorkx.
And you have to print out giant catworkx X's to put on System of Works.
Yes, System of Works and Teamworks. Yes, absolutely. It's like those in Parks and Rec where it was the Recall Nope episode, and they were printing out like question marks to recall nope, don't, to paste over the recall nope signs, right? So like get a whole stack of like the question marks. That's what I'm thinking about, but X's instead.
Yes.
Just stick them everywhere. X.
I just want to also highlight, if you guys are planning on going to the beach, it is cold water.
It is not Florida water. It is not East Coast water. It is cold water.
Very cold. Expect 50, 55 degree cold water. You can go in, but I'd go in with some sort of a swimsuit or like that.
Being from Pensacola, I have a very different experience with beaches. And well, I never liked the beaches to begin with. Maybe that's because I grew up here, but stay away from it to begin with.
All right. And Sarah, your thoughts?
My thoughts. Well, so because I am going with the Jira Life guys. So what I'm most excited about, though, and encourage anybody watching. So if we come up to you with a camera and a microphone, be prepared. We would love to have the participation from folks. Yeah,
because I'm negative Nancy. I'm most excited about the stuff we'll get in 11 months.
Well, right. Well, that's the thing, though. as a veteran, they're gonna announce thing, right? I was on a
It's available today. It never is.
Yeah. I was at an ACE the other day, and they were talking about seeing the wow, but not the how. And I thought, yeah, there will be a lot of that probably from the Atlassian folks. Where we'll get more of the how, I'm sure, is from our partner vendor booths and our marketplace app booths, because that was one of the things I enjoyed most when I went way back when, was just getting that opportunity to talk to the people and go, just help me with this, which is awesome to get those answers.
Definitely. And I'm stoked to see you all in person. Although I'm sorry to not see you this year, Rodney.
I mean, it is
I'll
what
give
it
you a hug
is.
for Rodney too. From Rodney.
Yeah. With that being said, if you see any of the other Jira Life people, we're going to be around, or they're going to be around more accurately, getting interviews, talking to people, talking to partners. They're going to be at these specific locations. I forgot to put it on the last item, but for the April 10th normal show, we're actually going to be outside the expo hall in that little area, hopefully. But fine, when we're doing a live show, definitely come hang out. You might get pulled on camera. You never know. But definitely check us out. We are going to be very active the entire time we're there.
Come get your 5 minutes of fame.
I don't think that was entirely a Freudian slip.
I'll stay on the other side of the convention center. Just stop that from happening before it does.
The TGL people know where you are.
We didn't even
already.
talk about Bash though. Where are you going to be at Bash? I'm just going to be at Disneyland. I'm so not. I didn't like the Bash party inside the convention center from 2023.
2023 was a little lackluster, but I loved the 2024 setup.
Yeah, that was cool. That was my first one, but that one was really cool.
There's something about, like, I don't know, you're just where the keynotes were, right? So it's like, I hope they have better food though, because I love 2023 food. I hated 2024 food, but I hated 2023. Like, it's so weird. Like, I don't know, maybe because of the engineering in me, but I'm like, I don't get excited about like music blasting at 1,000 decibels and like it being in an enclosed area, and like it's not the vibe, right? Like, I don't know why Atlassian does this.
It's annoying is what it is, but you have to have your party, right?
Yeah.
And then your partner companies secretly have, their own parties going on after that are really loud and interesting too,
Like the award ceremony we had MCB right there with us and Scott, and like it was so loud. We had 3 people dancing, and I'm like, I would have just loved to have been able to sit down and talk to MCB or Scott.
Right?
You can't, because you're just yelling in people's ears just so they can hear you. And I'm like,
oh, they weren't like in a VIP lounge or something?
Scott was weird. So some MCB was down on the floor. He wasn't in the dance floor, but he was like on the regular floor just hanging out. But Scott kind of came in, walked up to this like terrace area that they had, and like locked it up. And if you were up there, you were up there. And if you weren't up there, then you weren't up there.
Yep.
And I don't know Scott very well, but I wouldn't have done that. But MCB, he was down there with everybody just hanging out, talking.
I appreciate all the insights there. I am excited to see what you guys do at Team 25. Wish I could be there, but as I keep telling Alex, I really do need to focus on healing at the moment.
I'm probably just going to be at Disneyland the whole time.
And that'd probably not be ideal for me.
Probably not.
But as we always say here, first off, thanks, Bill, for coming today, sharing your thoughts. Again, you'll find Bill at the catworkx booth in booth 32. You'll find the TGL people mostly at booth 124 with the Revise, who, again, thank you for sponsoring the show today and sponsoring our coverage of Team 25. And as
no fist fights with Haiku. No fist fights with Haiku.
I should bring some gloves.
No. At least if you're going to fist fight with Haiku, wait till we have the cameras ready to catch it.
I'm going to do a who's got best swag challenge, though, so we'll see who's got the best swag.
That's going to be fun. But as we always say here on the Jira Life, A, don't fight with Haiku, and B, we didn't choose the Jira Life. Jira Life chose us. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy, Nissen. You can find Alex on YouTube at 8Tech Tutorials, and Rodney's blog is found over at thejiraguy.com. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lina Ortiz. You can catch us live as we record this podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and our other Jira Amigos of the Peanut Gallery every week to ask your questions, let us know your comments, and just tell us what you're up to. But if you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay over on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. We're also available as a podcast over on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to it and think it deserves a rating, we would very much appreciate it, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.